Am I on?
You're on, buddy.
All right, hold on. Can't see anything, but that's okay. Cheers.
Cheers. All right, you got the coffee cup going.
I got a little Italian espresso this morning.
Wow, all right. See, I just went classic, like Maxwell House, cheap coffee.
It's all good. Coffee is another
Right?
word that just means
What
good, right?
it just when I talk about coffee, it just feels like a warm hug.
I like that. All right, so what are we
Um,
talking about
so how are
today?
you this morning?
Oh, I'm good.
Today we're gonna talk about warming. You're good. All right, cool. We're talking about warming up today.
Okay. What do we need
So,
to know?
uh, why do we have to do that?
Because you need a few minutes before every run to just chat with your running partners. So you might as well just call it a warm up. Finish your coffee and have a good talk about what you did the night before.
All right, cool. So, sounds like every single run I've ever been on with people. So I'm always warming up.
Yeah, always. No,
Yeah.
all right. So seriously, um, you need to warm up. It is a way to get your body ready for, let's say specifically for running, but any workout, but for running.
Hmm.
So you need to get your joints ready for a little impact and motion. You need to get your muscles ready for a little activation and motion. You want to heat up your
Hmm.
internal temperature a few degrees. It's just a better environment for you to be exercising in. And yes, the research is out there that it will help prevent injury. You will
Hmm.
have typically a better, more efficient, productive workout. Also, if you get that warm up in.
All right, cool. So, um, usually when I do a warm up, it's just like, I don't know, half a mile of light jogging. Does that count as like a warm up? I'm warming up.
I think you prepped that question specifically for me, didn't you?
I may have. I may
Yeah.
have.
No, you don't want to. So I'm not a huge fan of using a slow run, like the first half mile of your workout as the warm up. I guess it's
Okay.
better than kind of shooting out the door at a race pace. But if you think about it, so let's say you're taking about 1,000 steps per mile, right? So your
Hmm.
warm up, you just took 1,000 repetitions of an activity or exercise that you weren't quite prepared for.
Yep.
Um, so, you're just at more risk of injuring yourself at that early stage of your workout by not doing something to prepare you for that. So, one thing I'd like to talk about in warm ups, and some people talk about it, not, not as many people talk about as they should, is
Hmm.
doing some impact preparation as part of your warm up.
Okay.
So a lot of people think of warm up as just doing a little bit of quick stretching, some active stretching. Some people still do like passive stretching where they're just sitting and holding a stretch for a long period of time. Um,
Hmm.
we'll get into that in a second, but running is basically leaping from one foot to the next, correct? So it's like a
Correct.
right. So it's basically a little bit of a jumping, leaping type of activity. And
Yep.
depending on your stride, how big you are, how your foot's hitting the ground, you can have anywhere from 2 to 3 times your body weight slamming
Hmm.
through your lower body with every step you take. So if you're
Right.
doing an early morning run, like I saw you did this morning, right?
Yeah, we got out there.
Yeah. So, your cartilage in your joint, the end of your joints. Oh, our dogs are talking to each other.
Okay.
Um, so, at the end of every joint, there's hyaline cartilage, and then your knee, you have your meniscus.
Hmm.
It might not quite be ready to handle 2 to 3 times your body weight slamming through it um, right away. So I like to include some sort of jumping
Yeah.
activities like skipping rope or the running jack exercise. And I actually think was it this week? I think I talked about it this week. I put a post on my Tuesday tips. So if you
Hmm.
guys head to at my Run Strong, you can see some those two jumping activities to include in there.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but
I
anyway,
always I always love the running jacks are probably my favorite. Just
Yeah,
when I'm warming up, I feel like it's a warm up that gets me ready to rock, but it's not too involved. Everybody's done jumping jacks before.
yeah.
I mean, it can be a little tricky to get my legs and arms working properly, but
In an organized fashion.
yeah, like just I always have an issue getting the arm to do what I want it to do, but but I feel like it's just an easy one to do, and it's really effective because it gets
Yeah,
the heart rate up, and then it's also, like you said, preparing your joints for impact.
yeah, and it's so you're getting internal body temperature up. You're breathing a little bit heavy. You're getting ready for impact. If you're doing it properly and your arms and legs are organized in a coordinated fashion, you're actually going through a running form. So it's kind of getting your nervous system ready for the run. If that's the one thing you do, if you give me like 60 seconds of that, it's not optimal, but that's great.
Hmm. Cool.
And then the other part of a warm up, you should be taking the major joints, your ankle, knee, and hips, in a range of motion that's just slightly more than you need for the run. So
Okay.
the impact preparation should be slightly less than what you're going to do in the run. Again,
Hmm.
this is my opinion. And then
Yeah.
the range of motion, like the active range of motion that you're going to do, slightly more than the range of motion you're going to encounter during your run. Does that make sense?
Uh, yeah, yeah, definitely. Because I mean, I've done your Run Strong clinic before, so kind of like notice that in the warm up activities that you have us all do,
Sure.
like things like those soldier kicks, and then like heel walks, having your like toes pointed towards the sky.
Yep.
Makes sense to kind of get those tendons and things all stretched out and ready to rock.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of stretching, what is your opinion on those like holding long stretches instead of like actively moving around? I see a lot of people before a run just standing, touching their toes,
Yep.
um, doing the old what I call the flamingo stretch.
Yep.
Um,
Kind of this
just like
one-legged.
holding.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So like what is that good for, and why wouldn't I do that before I go for a run?
All right. So there's one major study that came out quite a few years ago that made everyone just like poo-poo stretching altogether, and it
Hmm.
said if you do passive long hold stretching, which is what you're talking about, like you
Hmm.
pull your heel to your butt to stretch your quad, you hold it there for 30 to 60 seconds. Like, oh, if you do that, you're going to get slower. If you read the study, I forget who the year and who the author who did it, but basically the study took sprinters and they put their hamstrings on a 3 minute stretch. So they maximally stretched the hamstrings until there was not any length left. Then they held that stretch for 3 minutes and then put them on the start line of a 100-meter dash and then made them go. And what they found was, oh, guess what? Immediately after a 3 minute long stretch, you're going to get a little bit slower. Most of us aren't jumping onto a start line of a 100-meter dash, and most of us don't hold our stretches for 3 minutes. We just don't have the patience to do so, right?
Yeah, I think maybe I'm holding it for like 10 seconds and then I'm all
Yeah.
right. I'm
So
good to go.
anyway, so that kind of sparked even more the dynamic warm up, dynamic stretching as a pre exercise, pre workout type of activity. So I kind of go with that theory where my warm up I'd like to be more active. So you're doing jumping jack, you're doing soldier kicks, you're going through ranges of motion, you're not holding too long. But some people,
Hmm.
the old school people, like my age and even older, sometimes you just have to like you're stiff and you get areas that just need a little extra love and attention. If you feel like you
Hmm.
need to do a calf stretch for 30 to 60 seconds before you run, it's not going to make you a worse runner. If you were going to sprint against Usain Bolt, you might not want to do that, right? But most of
Hmm.
us aren't doing that. We're just going out for a run.
Right.
So I'm kind of I'm kind of I'm kind of playing on both sides of the fence there for a little bit. So
Yeah.
yes, I like passive stretching typically after, but if you
Hmm.
feel you need to do it before, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Right.
But before, we want to be jumping, we want to be moving, we want to be active, we want to be dynamic, we want to get the nervous system ready. We don't want to kind of calm it down too much with the passive stretching. So
Okay.
ideally, that's how I do it. Does that make
Gotcha.
sense? It's
Yeah. So more
slowly.
active stuff before, static stuff after.
Yes,
Okay,
that's
cool.
how I like it. But and I'm going to say it again: if you feel the need, like certain people have certain areas that are just cranky and need a little extra attention. If you
Yeah,
have to do a passive stretch before, it's not the end of the world. Like
gotcha.
it's not gonna make you a much worse runner.
Okay,
But
cool.
if you don't need to, after you're warm and tired and sweaty and you have tons of blood flow in your muscles, then you can calm down and do a nice passive stretch after. It'd be more ideal.
Got it. And you've talked before about foam rolling before you go for a run,
Yeah,
I
I
believe.
like that. Yes.
How, so I imagine it's like kind of the same idea, right? Getting your muscles ready to rock. But what does foam rolling do before my run that, you know, I can benefit from?
All right, great question. Um, can you hear me okay, by the way? My air conditioner just kicked in.
Yeah, I think so.
Sure? All
Yeah,
right.
I gotcha.
All right, good. All right, so foam rolling is beneficial no matter when you do it, either before or after. And if you ask many professionals, it's kind of split down the middle. Some of us are in the do it before school, some of us are in the do it after school. The important thing is just do it because it's beneficial. Right? I'm definitely on
That's
the.
just real quick. That's what my dentist says about flossing.
It is flossing is very important as well, isn't
Just
it?
do it.
Just
You
do
know?
it. You know what my dentist told me?
What's that?
He said, "You don't have to floss all your teeth." And I was like, "Oh, awesome!" He's like, "Just the ones you want to keep." All right,
Oh, all
cool.
right, I like that.
Um, all right, so back to the foam rolling, the flossing of your muscles. So foam rolling will help make your muscles a little more fluid, right? It'll
Mhm.
increase the blood flow a little bit, which
Yep.
are all good things before a workout, right?
Yeah.
Then our muscles are filled, especially runners, are filled with trigger points.
Hmm.
Explain real quickly. Everyone probably has heard the term trigger point, but they might not know exactly what it is, right?
Yeah.
So muscle fibers work by sliding filaments, right? So if I contract the muscle, fibers slide together to
Hmm.
cause the contraction to pull, like, let me see my arm. So if I bend my arm like this, my bicep muscle is sliding together, moves the elbow closer.
You
If
just wanted to do that, didn't you? You just to show everybody the guns.
why not, right? Any chance I can.
Right.
And then when I lengthen the arm, the fibers slide out this way. Okay? So a trigger point is an area of the muscle
Hmm.
fibers that are stuck like this. They don't contract, they don't lengthen, so they're pretty
Yeah.
dysfunctional, right? So you can't optimally tap into a muscle and activate it if it has a trigger point in it. So you can't be as strong as you optimally could be with trigger points present. So if you're going to go out for a run, you want your
Hmm.
muscles on board. You want them to be active. You want to be able to tap into them for strength, and you want some decent range of motion. So why would we not want to get rid of those trigger points before you do it? So foam rolling is a quick and easy way to do it, or you can hire a professional to come to your house every morning before you run and get some professional massage work done, or some dry needles put in those trigger points, or something like that. Which is, I mean, it's not most convenient or most financially sound plan for most people.
Right. Right.
So, so foam rollers, and then there's so many great massage guns out there now that are
Hmm.
great. These impact massagers, some tissue preparation. So
Hmm.
if you give me all the time in the world, you're going to do your tissue preparation first, like
Yep.
3 minutes per leg. That's all you need. Work out those trigger points, and then you're going to do your dynamic warm up, more active. Then
Yep.
you're going to do your workout, and then you're going
Hmm.
to stretch either after it if you have time or later on in your day. Let's say you're doing it in the morning and you got to head off to work. You might not have time to do everything. So do your
Right.
tissue prep, do your dynamic warm up, get your run in, take your shower, eat your breakfast, fuel up, go to work, and then at night just do a quick foam roll again, and then maybe do your passive stretching in the evening
All
if you
right.
have time.
Cool. And so, if I had to pick one thing, what should I do? I can't foam roll and dynamic warm up and static stretch. If I have to do, let's say I got like 3 to 5 minutes before my run, and then I'm out the door. What should I do?
All right. Kind of like last week, I think you asked me a question. It's hard to give a definite answer
Yeah,
because everyone's
there's
so
not a lot
different.
of time.
No.
Just saying. There's a
So,
baby involved. I gotta get up. I gotta run before he wakes up.
yeah, I hear you. All right. So I'm gonna kind of answer it two different ways here. If you are a fascially challenged human being like myself, which means I tend to be more stiff and tight, mornings are tough. I feel like I'm 90 for the first 15 minutes of my morning. I'm probably going to do my foam rolling and my tissue preparation if I only had time to do one thing.
Okay.
So I would literally spend my 3 to 5 minutes, whatever you have. I would do the foam rolling, walk out the door for another minute or two, and then get into my run. If I didn't have time to do everything else. If I'm a very range of motion gifted type of person, very flexible, like some of our yogis who also run, right? Like very flexible people. They might not need to go through the range of motion in the warm up as much, but maybe they need to jump around and do some running jacks and jumping jacks to wake up their central nervous system, activate some stabilizing muscles. So if you're in that school, just jump around a little bit, get your heart rate up, get that impact preparation in, and then do that.
Okay.
But something before you run is very beneficial to minimize the risk of injury, not only to improve performance. So whatever team you land on, if you're weak and hypermobile and you need to activate muscles, do some jumping, do some more active type of things. If you're stiff and fascially challenged like myself, do a little more of the tissue preparation.
All right, cool. All right, awesome.
You have to make me answer that way. That's how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like there's a lot of runners who aren't going to spend 45 minutes foam rolling and warming up.
You don't need 45 minutes. So you get
that's true.
6 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes per leg.
All right.
2 to 3 minutes of a warm up.
Okay, I can do 6 minutes. I think I can handle 6.
Yeah. If you give me 9 minutes total, you can get your warm up in and your foam rolling, and then you're out the door. 9 minutes.
All right, 9 minutes. I'll cut.
While your
coffee time. Right, yeah, maybe while the coffee's brewing, I'm hopping on the foam roller, I'm warming up. All right, I can dig it. Cool. All right, I think we should maybe wrap this up. We've been chatting for 10, 15 minutes now. I think we got some important tips on how to warm up properly. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap this sucker up? About warming up.
No, so definitely check out the video I did on my Tuesday tip at my Run Strong. It shows the two jumping activities. What I'll try to do is maybe next Tuesday add another video of another warm-up technique. Cool. That's how important I think it is. We'll go 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, wow, all right.
Warm-up. All right. But also, you told me we were going to talk about 80s music. You got to give me like...
Oh, yeah. I've been, I don't know if it's 80s music, but I've been listening to Peter Gabriel, Sledgehammer. I've been hearing that song a lot.
That's 80s.
It sounds very 80s. Like, I don't know if it's technically 80s, but it sounds super 80s.
Yeah, that's the MTV era.
Yeah. So, you got any 80s tunes on your playlist?
Well, here's the deal. I just started watching Cobra Kai.
I'm like, I thought I saw some ads for that.
Yeah, so it's basically the Karate Kid movie 30 years later, and they do a whole series on the two main actors, and it's just filled with 80s rock. It's hilarious. Like, I feel like I'm in middle school again. It's awesome. So I don't have one specific tune, but my wife and I binge watched like 8 episodes. They're only 30 episodes.
That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, there's tons of 80s music there, so give it a listen. Give it a watch.
Will do. I'll have to check out Cobra Kai. All right, cool. Well, thanks so much, Mike. And everybody, check out my Run Strong to get that Tuesday tip, warm up properly. And, all you need is 9 minutes, right? That's it.
I'll take 5. 9 is optimal.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, you have a wonderful day there, Mike, and thanks for popping in.
Same to you. Thanks for having me. And next Friday, do it again.
Sounds like a plan.
Awesome.
All right. We'll see ya.